Welcome, everybody. It's Chris Denman live in St. Louis, and it's Drinks with the Band. Like I said, my name is Chris Denman. I'm here at Midcoast Studio in icy St. Louis. E.T., he's the U.S. ambassador for Jack Daniel's Drinks with me each week here on Drinks with the Band. What's up, buddy? How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Better now. How's Los Angeles?
Not icy. However, there is a chill in the air.
As our friend Ben Nichols from Lucero says, empty hearted town. Yeah, drinking whiskey in my winter coat. Empty-hearted town sure gets cold. That's right.
Yes.
Los Angeles, everybody.
Yes.
Tonight we've got Sadler Vaden. If you're tuned in, thank you so much. We're very excited to talk to Sadler, great solo artist and also a member of the 400 unit. Very excited to talk to him. Real quick, huge thanks to Jack Daniel's for making this possible. They send ET over every single week without question. We've got a cocktail to make with him tonight. Also, huge thanks to Music Record Shop. We're going to be showing a QR code throughout the show where you can directly get vinyl or albums of Sadler's. So you can check that out. We've got Jack Daniel's prizes to give away. We've got all kinds of fun to have. Also, thanks to our friends at the Kransberg Arts Foundation right here in St. Louis Counseling Services, and our friends at Snappy Bigman Coffee. E.T., what's going on with the beads? What's happening here? St. Louis is a big Mardi Gras town. I thought that was over. What's going on?
I heard. What do you mean over? It's here.
This
is week.
Party. Oh, this is it.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yesterday, according to the papers in New Orleans, was Flat Tuesday.
Oh boy.
Since there's no, since Bourbon Street's closed.
I'm so disappointed. I've gotten lucky, and there's a neighborhood here in St. Louis called Soulard. They're huge with the Mardi Gras tradition. I think St. Louis, I feel like every city says this, but St. Louis is like the third biggest in the world, second biggest in the country, something like that for Mardi Gras. It's a big deal here.
Yeah.
So I usually get to MC stuff and hang out and get to have a good time over in Soulard. So shout out to them. I think they're doing a virtual event of sorts, so be sure to support where you can for Soulard. But yeah, you are quite the fan of New Orleans and Mardi Gras and all that.
I am. Jazz Fest, Mardi Gras. As you'll learn a little bit later, why New Orleans has a bigger place in my heart than all of those things. But yeah, these is real beads from New Orleans. It's a real glass I borrowed from a bar in New Orleans that one day I'll return.
Okay, yeah. You do have to go in and set it down and go, told you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The actually, to be honest, I think I bought this glass because this bar, I'm not the first one to maybe borrow glass from them. So I think they charge you before you even leave. And then if you actually if you give it back, they give you a couple bucks. But if you don't give it back, you paid for it.
I believe that. I worked at a brewery from the age of 21 to 26, and you go through cases. Like, you just account for the cases that are going to get stolen if you have your logo etched in. My favorite, though, was a woman walked in, and she had like a huge box. And we were like, what is going on? She went straight to the bar, asked for a manager, and she goes, I'd like to return these. And we're like, oh, you can't really return glasses you bought. She goes, they weren't bought. My husband's been walking out of here with these for the last 2 years, and I just caught him.
That's amazing.
She returned them all. It's like, he can keep them. We can't do anything with those. But either way, it is a thing.
Yeah, I've seen people there collecting glasses off tables from people that didn't know you get your money back for the glass.
That's hilarious.
And then trying to return them before the staff can pull them off. And
that's funny.
The people say, well, how many do you have? You're like, I don't know, this many. Let's give me my money.
Right. So ET, what we do for new people tuning in, we mix a cocktail. We give away some prizes. Sadler joins us here in just a few. He plays about 4 songs. We get to know Sadler better. It's a hell of a time. We do that each and every Wednesday. This is our second to last show of the second season. We'll tell you more about the finale of season 2, which is next week soon. Let's get to that cocktail, my friend. What are we having?
Let's do it. So in honor of New Orleans and Fat Tuesday and all that good stuff, I decided the Hurricane is the drink everyone, wishes they didn't drink too many of the next day. But to be honest, the ones you get on Bourbon Street aren't really the original recipe for a Hurricane. It actually started out as a pretty good drink. So we're going to make a riff on the original, since I don't work for a rum company, I always find that Jack Daniel's subs well in rum cocktails because a lot of rums are aged and use Jack Daniel's barrels. So they're getting a lot of those same flavors. And since a lot of those tiki and tropical drinks have sweetness, whiskey kind of balances better. So today we're going to make a hurricane. And if you recall, I got married in New Orleans.
That's right.
And after we got married in Jackson Square, I handed everyone a hurricane to do a second line with. So this is a riff on the recipe that I made. So we're going to use, instead of traditionally rum, we're going to use Jack Apple, 1.5 ounces of Jack Apple.
Again, I'm making drinks for 2 here. Producer Key requires.
So that's 3, Chris. So
a beverage.
1.5 times 2 is 3 ounces.
This guy, he's so good to me. I did the fat pour. Okay.
Nice.
The apple. Yep.
So we're also going to add my hurricane mix, which is just equal parts fresh lime juice, simple syrup, and passion fruit puree. So you can mix that in like a liter and then just use it as needed. Now, as I mentioned, if you couldn't find passion fruit puree on short notice, guava nectar, they might sub nicely. So 2 ounces of the hurricane mix, I'm going to pour right in here. So you're going to go with 4 ounces.
4 just went on the table. That's
there
how
you
this
go.
works.
Yeah. And then a little 1/2 ounce of pineapple juice.
Check this out. No, that's a full ounce.
Yes, for you. You're making 2. Now, because we're not using Old Number 7, we're using Jack Apple, which is a little bit sweeter. In order to balance some of these sweet notes, I have a 1/2 ounce of barrel proof Jack Daniel's. The bottle I had was, I think, 133.6. So a little bit of this will balance all the sweetness in the drink.
Big fan of where this is headed, by the way. I'm trying to think, too, like, how many times have you been to New Orleans over the years? Do you even know?
A lot. I think in the height of my travel to New Orleans, I was getting there 3, sometimes 4 times a year. And that probably went on for about 7 or 8 years, plus some other random trips along the way. Yeah. So that's too much math for right now. But lots and lots. So now we're just going to shake that baby up with some ice. Now, there's always a guy in my group that wants to drink every single drink that's on Bourbon Street, from hurricanes to hand grenades to these. They make these syringes, giant syringes filled with
I've seen
Jello.
those. Yes.
Yeah. That guy's name is Kenny Kelman, for anyone that's watching. Yeah.
Shout out to Kenny.
Yeah. He's the one that always forces us to drink these nauseating drinks. And typically for the hurricane, we would do the classic half orange wheel and cherry. But since we're using Jack Apple, we're going to do a nice little apple fan with a nice cherry.
This is a sample here back in St. Louis. This is what we're doing. I might have to make a second round.
You did really good on the measuring.
Yeah, I think that's probably my strong point. All right, so we got the Dirty Sue cherry.
Nice.
Garnish this thing.
Is there any other kind?
Yeah, I don't think there is. Real quick, I'll just tell everybody, if you hit share, you're entered to win a Sadler Vaden t-shirt. So you can just hit share, make sure your friends know about the show. We'll hook you up with one winner. We'll receive a t-shirt after the show. And we'll tell you what the Jack Daniel's prize is in just a second.
I really wish I was there and had to taste what that tastes like with the math that you were able to do.
You know what? I appreciate your skepticism, but I think it's going to be a great drink. All right.
It's nice.
You
made a drink and a shot.
Sample. Come get your sample. Yeah. There you go. See, I don't want the people we employ to work here. We don't want them getting too wild. Oh,
there.
She pulled it off. Nice one.
Nice.
Nice one. Oh, okay. There we go. And maybe I'll get a
Cheers.
towel here in a second. Hey, cheers to you, buddy. And
Cheers to you.
Cheers to
Happy
Sadler and
Mardi
everybody.
Gras.
Oh, and you know what? I almost forgot. For the Jack Apple. Boom.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that'll do it.
Yeah. Hello.
Nice work. Yeah, I'm excited to work through this today. Now you've got, so New Orleans is big for you.
Yes.
The drink tonight is themed, obviously. We've got a bunch of stuff to give away from Jack Apple, so thanks for that. What are we doing for the prize tonight?
So I want to show you something that I find fascinating. I'm going to show you a picture. If you can get this picture.
That is a lovely photo of a beautiful woman, and it looks like somebody, like her driver or something.
Yeah.
Next to her? Okay, got it.
Yeah. I'm showing you this picture not to show you just how beautiful my wife looked on her wedding day. But what's crazy about that picture is our photographer did not take that picture, and no one that came to our wedding took that picture. So we had a second line, which is the parade you see where people are dancing behind a brass band and they're going through the streets with umbrellas and waving hankies everywhere.
Yes, that's the
We had
amazing.
Yeah, so we had 150 people doing a second line through the French Quarter right after we got married. And weeks after our wedding, my wife, acquaintance of my wife, someone that was not, like, they're not so close that they were at our wedding, but this woman was on the internet and she was reading a blog, which got her to another blog and then spiraled down through the internet. And she ended up on this foodie site. And the blogger was like, yeah, I was in New Orleans and look at this food I ate. Look at this delicious food. And then I was walking and I saw a wedding in the street and it was our picture.
This is on a foodie blog.
Yeah, like she just was taking pictures of all the things she experienced in New Orleans and she saw a second line and it was us. And that's the picture that I just showed you.
That's amazing. Let's see it. Let's see it one more time, real quick. Sorry.
If you look behind my wife, you'll see the
band,
brass band.
Brass band, yeah. That's fantastic. Both of you look good. Like, it's not one of those where it's like, well, one of you looks okay. That's a great wedding photo in action.
Yeah, so it's in our wedding album. You know, so it's just crazy that was a random person that just happened. And then I don't even know how this other woman found this picture. It's crazy. So
I love that.
I figured because of New Orleans and got married there and all this good stuff, I feel like a lot of people, especially where you are, you're so close, have been to New Orleans. So my favorite place in New Orleans is Jackson Square, not because it's a beautiful park and not because the cathedral's right there. It's because where I got married. It's also where my wife was 15 minutes late to our wedding. She says there was traffic, but I'm guessing feet cold.
Yeah.
But she did say yes.
Good for you.
It's fine. Yeah. My wife's late to everything. She's not watching right now, so I can say that.
On that note, and I'll let you finish your story. I had two very close friends of myself and my brothers. They flew across the country. My brother, I'm in St. Louis, Missouri. That's what, a 4-hour flight to LA or John Wayne or whatever. My brother gets married in the city of Orange, in Orange County, California. People flew across the country. My other buddy flew from Florida for this. Our friends went down to San Diego the night before, got the time mixed up. They're just laying around in their hotel room.
Oh, God.
Missed the wedding.
The
reception was, but they got there like as it finished, immediately went up, apologized to my brother and dad. It's a great story now. At the time, I was like, you idiots. And they didn't. There was no malice behind it, but it was super funny. So it happened.
Yeah, I don't think my wife was really shivering on her feet. I think it just took a minute. Plus, her and her sisters came on like a horse carriage thingy, so it takes a minute.
Horse lost a shoe. Sorry.
Yeah, the horse lost a shoe. But so Jackson Square is my favorite place in New Orleans. So I'm saying everyone should put in the chat your favorite place in New Orleans, and someone from that chat will win some really nice Jack Apple, a potpourri of Jack swag.
Let's see all this. This is we have basically a photo collage of all the prizes. Okay, so we got T-shirt to give away. Jack Apple.
Super soft Jack Apple T-shirt.
Right. What else we got? Oh.
Jack Daniels earbuds. Jack Apple little earbuds.
Yeah, I like the color on those too. People, when you're running, it's a reflector.
Right. Jack Apple mixing tins, so you can make your favorite cocktail and drinks with the band with your own Jack Apple tins.
You know what? And I added a little more of the hurricane mix and juice, and we've got a drink, sir. This is delicious.
Nice.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And then we have the Jack Apple strainer. So it's nice and green, so you can't lose it in the drawer. You're like, where is it? Oh, there it is. It's right there.
Yep, it's right there. And you know what? If you're in St. Louis and can physically come pick this up, I've got this from a year ago, Jack Apple. We did a killer karaoke contest right before everything shut down. Winner got $1,000. It was so fun. And it was in the Soulard neighborhood, 1860s saloon. Shout out to them, one of our favorite bars. So Soulard and Mardi Gras will be back. Same with New Orleans. So, hey, if you want to win these prizes, put it in the comments. Let us know your favorite part of New Orleans. And you're entered to win.
I've seen a lot of good ones. It's really making me bummed down I'm not in Louisiana right now.
Right.
Because I missed 3 trips, I think, already this year. And, God, the food. I did something with Feast Magazine, which is based in St. Louis, last week for leading up to
Kansas City and St. Louis.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they had some a local butcher they make their homemade sausage. So these guys made jambalaya. Yes. I was like, oh my God, why am I not there right now? The food there is so good.
Last year, this time, I was hosting, what is that damn thing called? It's a feast. It's a Cajun feast, and they had this wild-ass cook from Louisiana there roasting alligator and making stew, and it was crazy. And I can't think. Cajun cook-off is what it's called. I get to hang out and just yell at a crowd and be like, hey, taste this, check this out. And we've got the alligator, the cocktails. Oh, such a good time.
Have you ever been on a swamp tour?
No, and I'm curious of our guest, Sadler Vaden, who's going to join us shortly. I wonder, because, you get like musicians, comedians, folks like yourself who travel and talk. You go do the weird stuff that locals are like, no, of course not. I don't go to the Arch every other day.
Trust me, this is, of the tourist things you can do, especially in New Orleans, this is the one thing, besides seeing great music and eating great food and just taking in the culture, outside of those 3 big buckets, go. I've been on a million of them. We go to this cocktail convention every summer, and I've taken some bartenders on these. And we were on one. We went on one on our wedding. We took the whole wedding party on one. But that was a big boat. This one we were on an airboat, so it's a tiny little boat. And these guys know everywhere the alligators are, right? They know exactly where to go. And so he pulls over, and he gets out of the boat and coaxes this giant gator with, chicken, like raw chicken meat. And he's tickling. I have to show you. I got to get this video for you. He tickles under the gator's neck, and it opens his mouth, and he throws a chicken wing in, and it shuts.
Oh my
and then
God.
It follows him for more. And if it gets too close, he gives like a little tap on the nose, and it like backs off like a dog that did something naughty. And he fed this thing. I'm like, guy had all his fingers, all his toes.
So that was going to be my question. I was like, how many hands did he have?
It was crazy. I've seen and then we had one tour guide once who we love. He was the funnest guy ever. And all the tours are daytime. And a swamp at night, super scary. So we're like, would you take us on a nighttime tour? So he's like, yeah, I guess. So the next time we were coming, I called him pre-planned it. We went on like a middle of the night swamp tour with like 6 of us on an airboat. And there was no light. All we had was the lights that we were shining. And then you might see those 2 little beady eyes, like right, because they'll throw stuff in the water to bring them over. And then your light's going and boom, like, oh my God, it's right there. That's super creepy. Super creepy.
We're gonna have to check that out. We'll do a live drinks with the band from an airboat. Yes. Real quick before we bring on Sadler, I wanted to say congratulations again on 3rd episode of the podcast that came out today. Is that right?
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. Rock on the Rocks. You guys can check that out. As someone who was in the room, super interesting episode. Quick plug, man. Tell people what they can see if they go to YouTube.
Yeah. So Rock on the Rocks is a pretty new podcast I'm doing. The rock part is I interview someone that is either a musician or music business adjacent, like a photographer or a producer or an artist. And the rocks on the rocks part is before the guest. I bring on a bartender friend to make a cocktail that you can pre-make before the show, so you're ready to get the ingredients before the show. And then enjoy the interview. And tomorrow, the guy is great. His name's Kai Ahrens. He's an artist. He's a musician. He's done album covers for Dolly Parton and Glenn Campbell. He's done concert posters for Queens of the Stone Age and Blondie and Them Crooked Vultures, and on and on and on and on and on. And he has the most interesting life. And he lives 6 doors down from me. I met him randomly on the street, and we just became friendly. And then I would see him at all these events, and then realize he was at the event for himself. So if you're interested in checking them out, his name's Kai Ahrens, Rock on the Rocks on YouTube. But if you go to my Instagram at Superhype LLC, all the info's there. And he was super fun to talk to. Guy's done everything.
Check it out, guys, and super proud of you for kicking that off, and excited to see where that goes. You got some big-time guests leading up to that.
Yeah, there's some good people coming up, yeah.
Speaking of big-time guests, we've got Sadler Vaden videoing in from Nashville, Tennessee, in a well-planned basement. What's up, Sadler?
What's going on?
Great to see
You
you.
did good on you did good on your drink. I was watching you.
Thank you.
Did good.
All right, talking to Chris or to me? Probably Chris.
Oh, talking to you're a professional, so you did great.
Yeah.
No, not you, Chris.
No, thank you. I appreciate it.
ET is a professional.
I want to say that Sadler Vaden endorses my drink, and I appreciate that about you. Sadler, good
color's
to
a little off.
You know, a hurricane could be many different colors, so I hope you appreciate that.
Yours is more like it's like a tropical depression.
Yeah.
Yours is a tropical depression. His is a hurricane. I'm just giving you the business.
Oh, perfect. Great to have you on, Sadler. Cheers to you, buddy. We got ET here. If you guys see this giant QR code,
Cheers.
if you hit it, you can support a local business right here in St. Louis. They're down the street from us. They've got Sadler vinyl available. Go check it out with that QR code. So, Sadler, thanks so much for joining us, man. We're giving away a T-shirt of yours tonight. Wanted to say thanks for coming on. If people hit share, we'll hook you guys up. We'll pick a winner after the show and get that out as soon as possible. Sadler, how are you? And would you like some of my drink?
It looks delicious. It really does look good. No, thanks for having me on here. And I have to say that Music Record Shop is like one of the coolest names for a record store ever. And please hit share because I need someone to take that shirt. I have about 1,500 shirts in my closet over here, so please. It's like they're coming out. Stay in there. Please hit share so somebody can take those fine threads home. But no, I'm doing good.
I got a plan. Hey, Sadler, I'll do something. I have this gorgeous original Hey Jude T-shirt. Let me make sure you can see it.
Oh yeah.
Who's that for, ET?
It's for my mom, Jude, but it can also double as a nod to anyone's fandom of the Beatles. But for me, it's Hey Jude for my mom. I will trade you an original Hey Jude T-shirt for a one of your 1,500, and I'll probably even throw in some Jack swag.
I'd absolutely love that.
We cut deals on the show. Yep.
It's the barter system. That's what I like to go back to. The barter system.
Yeah.
I got a goat. You got a barrel of milk. Let's trade. You know what I mean? Actually, you probably don't need the barrel of milk.
I like to do all my deals on Zoom. You know what I mean? I like to do all my big deals on Zoom these days.
Yeah.
No, it's a little snowy, icy here, but we're safe. I'm in my rock and roll basement. Undisclosed location in Nashville, Tennessee. But no, we're having a good time. I've got a 4-month-old baby boy.
Congrats.
Just me and my wife and him and my mother-in-law, and she's lovely. And so yeah, we're just hunkered down here. I got Doritos, so
we're good. Are we allowed to call you Dadler formally?
Yeah, you can call me Dadler for sure. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
just
in.
vote for
How's
me.
the baby?
Guys.
How's the baby sleeping?
He's sleeping great, actually. I don't want
knock
to say
on
anything
something
too
then.
loud, but yeah, he's sleeping wonderfully through most of the
great.
night.
So we're making hurricanes, and we've got a contest to let people know in the comments, let us know their favorite New Orleans spot. You've played New Orleans probably 8 jillion times by this point. Do you have a favorite spot in New Orleans?
Let's see. Let's see. Giacomo's is a cool spot to eat.
Yeah. Super cool spot to eat.
I have some great friends that live there. And I'm trying to think, it's like every time I'm there, we have such a great time. I don't even remember the names of the places that I'm I'm in.
Stumbling into.
I've played Jazz Fest a few times, which is like so much fun. And then I've actually gone to Jazz Fest, as a spectator, and it's a great time. And I love going down there. It's a really wonderful city. And I've never been down for Mardi Gras though. And that's one thing about being a touring musician. You kind of miss out sometimes if your tour isn't landing in a place where there's something like Mardi Gras happening. Then you're in St. Louis or something like that. You know what I mean? You're not in you're not in New.
Yeah. Somebody's got to get stuck here.
Which St. Louis is lovely. St. Louis is lovely.
You're popular here. Yeah.
Yeah, the City Museum in St. Louis, I went there for the first time a couple years ago, and I couldn't get any of the slides to work. I couldn't, I would go down just sticking. I think it was because it was summertime, and so I got hairy legs and just sticking, But we always have a great time in St. Louis. But yeah, New Orleans is lovely. I mean, I like all the hot spots, that you're supposed to go to. But I'm not going to say Tipitina's. I've actually never even been to Tipitina's, and I want to go, but I've never actually gone.
E.T.
Which
so
is
many
kind of
times.
funny.
So many times. It's so many times. I think one year we got stuck there, and like all of a sudden we were at the Tipitina's Uptown, and it started downpouring, and you couldn't get a cab just before Uber. It was the worst, but in general, it's pretty fun. Can be fun.
I would say I like is it Lafitte's Blacksmith?
Yeah, at the end of Bourbon Street. The old.
Yeah, that's fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, I like going there. That's cool.
It is, and let us know in the comments again your favorite spot in New Orleans. You'll be entered to win that Jack Daniels prize pack, and if you hit share, you'll help Sadler unload a T-shirt from the closet. So you're helping out a good cause, people. Sadler, we're going to say bye to E.T. here in just a second. I do want, before we get crazy on the songs and everything, best place for people to follow you, all that good stuff. Send them to Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram or Twitter.
You're busy.
The high court of Twitter. Be careful out there. But Twitter, Instagram, I'm out there. Facebook, of course. So, I'm not on TikTok. Probably won't ever be on TikTok,
I'll drink to that.
I don't know if I'll ever get accepted to the talk.
Hey, it's cooler to not be talking. You know what I mean?
But, I'm like an album guy. I'm not like a short snippet kind of guy. I'm like my content is long. It's not in just small doses like that. I
think it's cool to say I have 0 followers on TikTok.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No. Well,
yeah.
So we'll jump into a song, and when we come back, we'll break down Clubhouse with the guys. So we'll see where everybody's at with Clubhouse.
Oh.
No, I swing and a miss on Clubhouse. E.T., dude, thank you for the drink, my friend.
All right. Take care. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, man.
Cheers.
Thank
Sadler, if you feel like a song, let's jump in, man.
All right. I just noticed that I like to point at people, and they I'm pointing at my screen to say bye to E.T., but
you gotta. It's the opposite. You gotta be like, okay, so here's there he is, and then he's over here. That's how it works.
Yeah, there you are.
Perfect.
Hollywood Squares.
Cheers, E.T. Sadler, take it away.
All right, I'll play a song off my newest record that's called Anybody Out There, and I'll play a song called Tried and True. And this song is essentially my love letter to rock and roll music. Here it goes. Well, I don't want to hear it. It's all been done before. Well, you got no spirit. If you don't believe in more, you feel like a broken record playing all the same rock and roll. But don't you fear it. You always got somewhere to go. The tried and true, we saw you yesterday, hiding in the lost and found. So I know you're gonna come back around. Well, I heard you were leaving the game behind. You were afraid of fading like the ones in the back of your mind. All headphones, jackets, hairpins, parents, mess of stickers on your door. But it's the sound that keeps me waiting, and it keeps you coming back for more. The tried and true that we once knew. I believe in you, my baby blue. I saw you yesterday, hiding in the lost and found. So I know you're gonna come back around. You come back around. Tried and true that we once knew. I believe in you, my baby blue. I saw you yesterday, hiding in the lost and found. So I know you're gonna come back around. Oh, won't you come back around?
Anybody out there is the album. We've got the QR code popping up throughout the show. You guys can check that out. Purchase vinyl or whatever you feel like from Music Record Shop, and Sadler will get hooked up. So there it is. And Sadler, you didn't get to tour on this album.
Unfortunately, I did not. And, you know, I play with, obviously, most people know and you know, and for those folks who don't know, I'm in the group Jason Isbell in the 400 unit, the guitar player. And so we tour a lot, you know. We really go from record, tour, record, tour, record, tour. That's our cycle. So I was really looking forward to actually playing a few shows of my own because we had some downtime and we had just made the newest album, Reunions. And
congratulations on that too. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Thank you. And I'd already, you know, had plans for my record release. I mean, I made my record in May of 2019, and we made Reunions in December of 2019. So, you know, I kind of had all my stuff lined up, and then we made Reunions, and then that was going to come out in May. My record came out March 6th of 2020, and almost like, I think we had some really bad tornadoes in Nashville on March 3rd, I believe, or March 2nd. And, I mean, really a lot of destruction. You know, it ruined a lot of our venues. And, yeah, it was really, really bad. And so, you know, that Saturday or, you know, that Friday, the record comes out. And come that Saturday, it's like, hey, everybody, I got a record out.
Oh, man.
And it was just like tornadoes, destruction, everything's wild. And then about a week later was coronavirus, went straight to #1 on the Billboard music charts. But yeah, so rough time to put out a record, and I just had to pull all of my shows, you know, and it was probably early. I was on the early end of things, but I just felt like no one really knew if we were all going to turn into zombies and start eating each other or what. Like, it was
still
like,
could happen. Yeah, sure.
Still could happen. Yeah.
Right.
We'll see what this vaccine does, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, you know, it was a tough break, but I think that, you know, on the bright side of it all, this record of mine, anybody out there, it's the best record I've put out, you know, up to this point. A lot of people enjoyed it. You know, I was able to get it in the stores and all that stuff. And then as people were quarantining, I felt like a lot of people were checking it out because life slowed down and it was something that was brand new, and so they were giving it a listen. I appreciate that. So.
Well, it's a great album, and it's a nostalgic feeling too, in a sense that I think we're both in our mid-30s, where it's like the guitar on it and the songwriting. Like, I don't know, it kind of took me back. Maybe it's because I knew you're a fan of some '90s alternative rock and things like that, but
yeah,
it gave me that feeling, and that's such a good feeling too, especially during weird times like we've had. Yeah,
well, I like music. For better or worse, I like music that makes me feel nostalgic. I don't know. And maybe a lot of people do too, but I'm going to just wear that on my sleeve. I love it. I love when it makes me remind me of, something when I was a kid or just old times or whatever. But it's funny you pointed out the 90s thing, because a lot of people have not pointed that out. And I'm so influenced by like late 60s rock and roll and British rock and roll. And then, of course, 70s like Tom Petty and The Who and Zeppelin and Stones and all the classic rock stuff. But I'm a kid of the 90s. I was born in 1986, so I have an older sister, and she was turning me on to all this music, and I was discovering music at an early age in the 90s. So I think that influence does creep in, and a lot of people don't really point that out or maybe even notice it, but thank you for noticing that, the 90s influence.
it's
in the good way.
No,
the good 90s.
Absolutely in a good way. And let's jump into it. It's pretty obvious you're a fan of Oasis. I think you've made that clear. But
yeah,
as far as other bands that would be from that time that maybe would creep into your brain, let's get a little list.
Well, it's not, it's all the bands that you would think of. This is really funny. There's a soundtrack. It's the Dumb and Dumber soundtrack. And
the Fairley Brothers cared about their music, man.
Yeah,
I'm serious.
Hey, they make quality shit, man. So I remember, of course, I was obsessed with Jim Carrey as a kid, growing up when I did, like most kids were. And so Dumb and Dumber was a huge movie. I loved it. And I would always go to like Camelot Music or whatever it was in the mall.
Sure.
And I would always buy the soundtracks to like the movies that I liked. And
Yes.
Dumb and Dumber, the Dumb and Dumber soundtrack was there. I bought it. It was a cassette tape. And my dad put it in the car, and my dad fell in love with it. But it had that soundtrack really did change my life. And I was listening to it. I was listening to it the other night. It had like Pete Droge on it, which is he's not a super well known artist from the 90s, but it had the what's that band, the Proclaimers on it.
Oh yeah.
It had Crash Test Dummies did the Ballad of Peter Pumpkinhead.
Yes.
Which was by XTC. Yeah. Is that the band that did that?
I want to say that, yeah, but
Yeah.
either way, yeah.
Their version was great. And then there was like this unknown band. They were like called The Sons or something with Brett Riley. And there was a song called Too Much of a Good Thing on there. And anyway, it's just great sounding rock and roll music that were played by bands, you
Right.
know? And I think that's why I love the 90s. So Dumb and Dumber soundtrack's up there for me. And then I think it's less of like the bands that are my favorite of the 90s, but I find that like 95, 96, these records that were getting made from an engineering studio standpoint, I love the sound of. Like I love Sheryl Crow's self-titled record. I love the Wallflowers Bringing Down the Horse. What Tom Petty Wildflowers was like 94 or something like. I just love the way those records sound.
Sure.
That's just me.
I'll make a case for like I won't change it if the Gin Blossoms pop on, my friend. Like, give me
Gin Blossoms.
They're so good.
They had hits, man. They had hits.
I was, what was it, 2 years ago, and you recently did something with Dean Del Rey. It was at All Things Comedy Festival in Phoenix, and somehow we end up in Tempe doing something. And I walk by and I look down, and then the Tempe Walk of Fame, there sits the Gin Blossoms.
Oh yeah,
on a star. And I don't know why. I got the biggest kick out of that. I was like, yeah, they freaking did it, man. Good for them.
So many songs. I mean, whispers at the bus stop. What I heard about nighttime in the schoolyard. I found out about you. Found out about you. Hey, jealousy. I mean, so many. God, I'm blanking on the other ones.
No, I
There's so
get
many.
it. And
They all run together.
I'm trying to one up you on the '90s album that I picked up. I picked up, and this is more probably along the punk rock line, but I'm sure the Goo Goo Dolls were on it or something. The soundtrack to the movie Angus.
Oh yeah, Angus. Yeah, no good. Yeah.
Green Day had a song on there, and yeah, shout out to Angus. I wonder what that guy's doing now.
Well, I mean, I go like Silverchair, Green Day. The '90s. This is so funny. The '90s changed my life.
I hope
they
so.
They really did, because check this out, man. I grew up in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and our town was lucky enough to get a House of Blues, right? So, you might not think that we're fortunate to get a House of Blues in your town, but for me, it was totally life changing, because I saw so many bands there at a young age. I'm talking, like I just said, Green Day, Silverchair, the Black Crowes. I saw the Black Crowes on the 1998, By Your Side tour, and they had all the Freed on guitar.
Too. Yeah.
They would film all those. Yeah. I saw Eminem on the, the big, My Name Is, like that thing. Mm-hmm. I saw him on that tour. Shows that just changed my life as like a 12-year-old or whatever who was already playing guitar. So, yeah, man, the 90s.
No, and I meant it, and the nostalgia on the album comes out. So again, you guys can hook it up through Music Record Shop. Use that QR code, and you can get anybody out there.
There it is.
Check it out. Yeah, that's right. And also, if you hit share, we're giving away a T-shirt. It's got the album cover on the T-shirt, so you can again help out Sadler with that T-shirt inventory. We'll make that happen. We've got 4 songs total, so I'll let you jump into the next one.
Should I play another one?
Yeah, if you're down.
Yeah, man.
I like the solo shot. You get to show off that jacket. I like that.
You like this jacket?
It's nice.
This song's called Modern Times. Blankets, we would sit outside and sip our beer, and then we'd go for a ride. Turn the music so loud it hurt our insides. I remember back in '93, we'd run down the beach and watch MTV, and our imagination was all that we could see. These modern times, it's hard to know someone for real in these modern times. Well, who am I? Wake up, honey, it's an alien invasion, come to take us on the space vacation. The lights are so beautiful you can't look away. Should we run as fast as we can and stay on Earth with the other humans? There ain't much difference between the two these days. These modern times, it's hard to know someone for real in these modern times. Well, who am I? Well, who am I? not who we think we used to be. We live and die by what's on the screen. Ain't a whole new existence by the touch of a screen. In these modern times, it's hard to know someone for real. In these modern times, well, who am I? Well, who am I? Well, who am I?
Felt like I got into a Mitsubishi Eclipse and drove back to the 90s for that one. I like that. That was great.
Dude, we had a Mitsubishi Galant.
I mean, listen, you come on here, we get it, you're a rock star. Now you're bragging about your Mitsubishi
Galant.
Okay. All right. All right, dude. Cool, man. You're a rock star.
No, do you want me to rub it in even more?
Please.
I drive a Honda Element now. So
good for you, buddy. Rocking. People in Nashville to stop. They're like, there goes Sadler Vaden. Wow.
I make Honda Element rock, I figured out. That's like the type of rock I make.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, I'm into that. Hey,
which is really just dad rock. I just make, and I was making dad rock before I was a dad, but now the shoe just fits even more snug.
The Velcro shoe fits. Great.
The New Balance shoe fits perfectly now. There's no insole, no. There's no jimmying around with trying to get it to fit better.
Let's talk New Balance shoes. I'm a fan. How about you?
I don't have a pair.
We need to fix that.
I know.
They're comfortable.
I know. I thought you guys were giving away New Balance shoes. That's why I did this whole thing.
Okay. Well, I'll call your people and we'll make that happen. So you're in a unique spot. Like you were talking about the releases. I remember you tweeting about it or something about putting anybody out there. And then Reunions comes out too. Interesting spot to be in, your solo record and your big band record, in regards to how that affects somebody's career. I'm sure you guys aren't belly aching. I'm sure you're doing as good as you can, whatever else. What is that like? And even if you're the Rolling Stones, it's gonna change things. What's that like, I guess, as a person, putting both those out, both artistically and I guess without getting too deep into it from a business standpoint, what goes through your head? I mean, the one, it's so interesting that it's not only one but two, and I don't know if interesting is even the word for that.
Well, the band I'm in, the people that are in that band are just, they're great people. Aside from being, Jason, aside from being so talented, like he's a great guy, and the rest of the band, they're just great folks. Like I really don't know what I would do without them at this point, and I hope they feel the same about me. But and then so I used to open for Jason. I used to front a band. I used to do my own thing before that split up, and I ended, going a few different directions before ultimately joining the 400 unit. So he's always been really supportive of me, putting things out and doing that. Like he knows that I'm not, splintering away or I'm trying to become this big, whatever. It's like, so it's so that whole part is cool. It was just bad timing really for me to put out a record, and then the pandemic happened, and then obviously I wanted Reunions to do as good as possible because we all knew the pandemic was happening, and like, oh my god, our whole tour was like canceled and all this kind of stuff. So but it was I think it was a rough hit to everyone's ego. I mean, you got to think about our identity is what we do all the time, which is tour and play music for people. So I think we're all good now, and we're all on the other side of that. But I think at first it was sort of like, oh my god, like
right.
This was lined up to be probably one of the biggest years we were going to have as a band, one of the biggest years I was going to have as a solo artist, still releasing music under my own name. And honestly, who's to say that it wasn't a big year? It certainly was a big year for me, even though I didn't get to play. I mean, I think a lot of people saw that I make records and I'm for real about it. It's not a vanity thing. It's not the only place I hang my hat. It's not how I, provide for my family and things like that. But I still got the drive in there to write the best songs I can, and I just love making rock and roll music. I don't when we make records with Jason the 400 unit, I don't have, as a band, we don't really have parts in like writing songs and things like that. We go in there and we do our thing to songs that he's written, and he's got that ball whacked, so no one wants to mess with that part of it. But I like to create. I like to create something from nothing. I'm a songwriter,
Right.
So I think that I have to do that. And what I'm finding though in this past year, I think was big for me is working now. I'll be 35 on Friday. Working now with younger artists. And sort of helping them and sort of being a person that's only 10 years older than them, who has seen a lot and has done a lot, has a lot of experience. And so I've been getting more into producing and writing with younger artists and helping them develop their thing, which I've gotten a lot of joy out of.
No, I could absolutely see that. You do. I don't know if it's, again, I'm 36, so it's like, I don't know if it's that number that's 35 that starts making you look back and be like, hey, I can help this person out. You've got that. I noticed that too. There's a bit of a shift with some of the stuff that we do where I am kind of like, oh, no. Let's have you skip this 4 years of you busting your head and not doing something correctly, and maybe I can give you a hand with that. So I think that speaks to a lot of what you're doing, though, and the people that you're around, too, because I just wanted to go back, like, what a great point to make that Jason Isbell, that's you guys have skyrocketed over the last 10 years to this weird indie / mainstream phenomenon for what you do. It's incredible. But that's so important, though, that he's fostering that as, I don't know, I'm going to just say the leader, as the head dude. If he's cool with you out making your own stuff, like, in turn, you're going to come back and be that much better of a dynamic member of the band, too. I just wanted to point that out. I love that's the mindset in your group.
Yeah, I think, I think we're both fortunate I'm fortunate to be in his group and to work with him on so many levels. And I think he's probably fortunate to have someone like me that doesn't make like shit music. That's like, it's not like, oh my God, my guitar player's putting out,
Here we go again. Yeah.
Yes, it's great.
Yeah.
Sure,
man.
And I think he knows who I am, and he knows that I've pretty much dedicated my life to like rock and roll music and trying to make like rock and roll records and things like that. And but he's taught me so much about songwriting, and I've learned just being a bystander, watching him kind of through his process, being inside, his band and all that stuff. And so I think he trusts that I'm gonna put out quality. It's not the same as his. I think a lot of people try to do that. When I put something out, they immediately compare it to Jason. And it's like, well, it's not the same thing.
No, it's not.
I'm not the same. I'm not him. But I'm also a different type of songwriter too. Right. But I think that's what's beautiful about it. So
I would agree. Yeah.
And that's just and that's natural. No one's even trying to do that. So I think, but I really do appreciate him, and he throws his support behind my stuff when he doesn't even have to. So I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, any kind of situation, be it creative, business, whatever else, if you're going to spend such a short time we've got on the earth, it's like if you can find that mix, man, I'm happy for you guys. And I think it comes across in the performances, and I'm glad that success is tied to that as well. It's cool. It's cool to see.
Well, I love, I got to meet little Steven Van Zandt when I was probably 15 years old. And it wasn't some super sexy, like, my parents got me backstage at an E Street Band concert or anything like that. It was I wrote an essay. There was a thing in the paper that went around through my school that was like, little Steven's going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina. He's going to talk to kids, blah, blah, blah. Like, you have to write an essay to get accepted to go to this thing. And the essay was like, in 250 words, what does rock and roll mean to you? Or something like that.
Wow.
I don't even think it was 250. It might have even been 50 words.
Sure.
And so I wrote a thing, and it was really simple. I was like, rock and roll to me is, freedom and not being, censored, and the last chords of Won't Get Fooled Again, and the opening riff of Johnny Be Good. And, I was just going, all these things. That's what rock and roll is. And
got into it, yeah.
As like a 15-year-old, yeah. And so I got accepted to go and meet little Steven. And I feel like I was kind of one of the more like developed players at this thing. And little Steven taught to everybody, and then everybody could kind of like pick up the guitar at once, which was weird, and like play. And then little Steven went around and got his moment with every kid. And so
Yeah.
I said, I asked him, hey, I'm 15, I'm an aspiring guitarist, like I want to really do this for my life. And I was like, what advice do you have? And he said, doing his Silvio thing, he's like, serve the song. Serve the song. And I was like, okay, serve the song. And I told my dad that, and my dad just kept, ingraining, like, putting that in my brain. And so I've taken that with me this whole time. And so once I got away from my band and started being a sideman, that's what I did. And the reason I brought that up is being in Jason's band, I'm there to serve his songs.
Right.
I'm not there to serve my ego. No one should be there for that. It's you're there to play music, and serve that. That's what you're there to do. So
Take note for all you folks out there that are wanting to do that, and apply that to whatever you're doing, not just to music. Serve the song and whatever you're doing. I love that. Let's get a T-shirt going with that.
let's get a T-shirt going.
Let's have a T-shirt. Cheers to the T-shirt.
we have a T-shirt guy that's just on standby.
10 feet that way. Buy Jack. It's part of our company. Check it out. Buyjack.com. That was the plan, getting you on here the whole time. I was like, he's got some kind of quote. We're going to make a T-shirt for Sadler.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's perfect. We've got a couple songs left. I just wanted to say thanks to everybody for tuning in. I do want to remind you, hit share. You'll get entered to win that T-shirt from Sadler's store. Actually, his closet just a few feet to his right. We'll make that happen. And if you tell us your favorite spot in New Orleans, you're entered to win the Jack Daniels prize pack. You wanna focus in on that? Thank you for the prize show, Key. I was gonna say we'll check those out. And just look at all these prizes. Sadler hit share. He's entered to win. So we'll make that happen.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, look at all this cool stuff. So thanks to ET.
I want that strainer.
I bet we can make that happen as part of the shirt trade. We'll rock it out. Loved Modern Times. Thanks for playing that last time. What's your third song, my man?
Thank you. I'm going to play, speaking of Nolans, New Orleans, I'm going to play a song that I mentioned New Orleans in. I feel like that's kind of appropriate. Is that okay? Is that okay with everybody?
I think it's great.
And this is Bernie.
I was going to ask. You've got an audience.
This is a painting of Bernie with mittens.
Did you do that?
Yeah. Of course I didn't.
Well, I've appreciated your audience tonight, so I'm glad you brought him up.
Yeah, he's my biggest fan. All right, this song's called Anywhere But Here. I put this out a few years ago as I put out like 2 singles, and one of them was called Still Kids, and the other song was called Anywhere But Here. And I thought this was going to go to number 1, but it didn't, so. Pick me up in the morning I'll be out front. You can come inside, but I think it hurt. 'Cause she don't wanna see you, you don't wanna know. You should have learned how to take it slow. Now let's go for a ride past the park, where we got high in that church parking lot. Well, 2 years ago someone burned it down. Well, we have to find a way out of this town. Don't surrender to the fold. Come on, let's hit the road. There is so much more for you and me. California or New Orleans, someplace where we can dream. Just take me anywhere we can disappear. Just anywhere but here. Well, my father always threatened to move us somewhere with a better view. Yeah, like a change of scene would patch the scar, or a dream would never leave his car. Now my sister runs with a different crowd. Man, we have to find a way out of this town. Don't surrender to the fold. Come on, let's hit the road. There is so much more for you and me. California or New Orleans, someplace where we could dream. Just take me anywhere we can disappear. Just anywhere but here. Don't surrender to the fold. Come on, let's hit the road. There is so much more for you and me. California or New Orleans, anywhere but in between. Just take me anywhere we can disappear. Just anywhere but here. Anywhere but here.
Did you write that song for this evening after you heard us talking about
I
New Orleans?
did.
Thank you.
Yes, I did.
That's why I like you. You're a good guy.
In the 15 minutes I was in the waiting room, I wrote that song
That's
for you guys.
That's perfect. I appreciate that, man. Big shout out to all our friends. We got a bunch of folks in Kentucky, Ohio, California. All
right
tuning
on.
in. So, yeah, having a good time, man. Big shout out to them. And we appreciate the support and support Sadler. Some people were asking for a tip jar. We didn't set anything up, so you can just buy the vinyl. That supports him. That supports small business and Sadler directly. So
That's
big fan
right.
of that. That's right. Get
That's
the
right.
vinyl through Music Record Shop. I'm sitting here, I'm just like, I'm enjoying the evening. I'm wondering about all this. Now, you're down in the dad basement. You're hanging out. Your son is quietly sleeping in the other room.
Yes, yeah.
In a way, I was thinking about this. So I asked kind of a weird question where it's like, okay, you had this great record, the solo record come out. You had this great record with the 400 unit come out. You had all this happen. and it's kind of weird. And who knows? Maybe that'll open up some doors you guys wouldn't have explored had it not. But you have your son. He's young,
Yes.
and you would normally be out on the road.
I know. I think about it every day. I really do. And I was thinking about it this morning. You woke up at like 5:30, on the monitor. And, my wife has to get up and work. She's working from home right now, luckily. And I was in there, and, it was like pacifier, war. It was a total war zone in there. But so I ended up just pulling him out and, sitting in the chair, and I'm just thinking, like, normally, February we would be out, because we're always the band that tours in the wintertime where no one else wants to tour.
Yeah.
We're always in like Milwaukee, Milwaukee,
Of course, yes.
and we're in Minneapolis,
Oh.
and
Brutal.
and we love those places, and I don't care because I have a suitcase full of shit that I've got, like, my sandals for because we could be in Austin, Texas, 3 days after Milwaukee,
Yeah.
poolside. Of course, shout out to Texas people. I know that
man,
Texas
yeah.
is having a rough time right now. Sending much love out there.
Absolutely. I think about that. I'm like, the no power thing's really scary with people that, like, you don't realize how much you depend on it. So, yes, thanks for bringing that
Yes.
up. Yeah. Shout out to our friends in Texas. Big
Yeah.
time. You were mentioning touring in the cold. I will just share a quick story. My first time ever in Minnesota in February, I was in a little town, and I was at the hotel, and I was going to go work out. And I asked the front desk lady, I'm like, how far is that YMCA from here? I'll probably just run. That was part of the workout. And she's like, she kind of looks at me weird, and I was like, what? I'm in decent shape at the time. And she was like, well, it's about 4 or 5 miles. And I was like, oh, perfect. That'll be great. And she's like, well, if you do that, which I don't recommend you do, make sure everything's covered and that your mouth's covered. And I was like, oh, I think I'll be okay. She's like, no, your lungs will freeze. And I was like, oh, is that like a local saying or something like that? She's like, no, idiot, your lungs will freeze and you won't breathe. So that's that's the time of year. Like, that was my reminder. The nice woman at the hotel desk, like, sternly telling me, you better not go ahead and run.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've been in Milwaukee before where it's just like, it's like, oh, you want to get pizza? Well, you could die on the way there,
Great pizza, but you might die. Yeah.
You could die. Oh, sure, yeah. And I'm using that accent with all the love. I have friends that live.
That was good.
I played in a band, and I was in a band called Driving and Crying. Kevin Kinney, one of my heroes, one of my friends. Amazing songwriter. And I spent a lot of time around him. He's from Milwaukee. But Driving and Crying is an Atlanta band. Mm-hmm. But I love Milwaukee, man. That's
It's
no offense to any other city up there, but I think that's my favorite Midwestern city.
Well, you share that with my dad. My dad's a big fan of Milwaukee too.
Hey,
So shout out
go
to Larry.
Brewers.
Yeah,
Go
there
Brewers.
It is. Yeah, it's a pleasant town.
It's I like Summerfest.
I hear good things for sure.
We played Milwaukee 2 years ago, with almost 2 years ago with Father John Misty, and it was a summer tour. Father John Misty, Jason Isbell, 400 Unit. We played Chicago. It started raining, and it was 32 degrees in June, and then we went to Milwaukee, and it was like even colder. We're playing the amphitheater thing. It's like on the lake. And I'm just like, yeah, this is nuts. It's like going to Walmart to get some long johns, some undergarments.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. If it gets too inclement, and I know you were probably watching live whenever it started raining on the Goo Goo Dolls and the what was it, MTV Spring
Oh,
Break?
sure.
MTV
Oh, sure.
Spring Break '96, and they just kept playing. Now, do you have the fortitude that they had? They're hardy Buffalo boys. Did you?
We keep going.
You keep playing
we
through.
keep going. Oh yeah.
What
Yeah.
is the
You ever been-
insurance adjuster on the side of the stage think when that happens? I wonder.
You ever played in somebody's garage in Gainesville, Florida in July? I have. We keep going.
How'd that go?
Well, we ripped our clothes off after the gig and put them in a bag in the back of the van, and then the next morning it was like it smelled like vodka in there.
Yep. That'll do it. Oh my gosh, Sadler, I know we've got another song with you here, but as far as, I guess, we're hearing maybe into summer, getting back out there. Have you personally, this is something I kind of chit chat with everybody about because we're closing out the season. Yeah, man.
What's the Fouch? I got this jacket on, like the Fouch. Give me the news, baby.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So, are you guys making tentative plans?
I can't say any of that stuff, but I know that I'm like a
You're actually contractually obligated to. You didn't see that in the. You have to break news on the show.
I am a very I'm like a serial optimist. I'm a serial optimist. I'm always like extracting like positivity and hope out of any situation for the most part. And I'm just trying to be realistic. I don't know. We'll see. I feel like if we're like on tour by summer, I don't know that I personally see that happening. I'm not saying anything. I don't know anything, but I hope by the fall maybe. But I mean, they're saying by Christmas things will be like a lot more normal. But it's just going to take time.
It takes runway. That's the thing is like if you want to do something in June, you need to start planning. 6 months ahead of time. So.
Yes.
That's how it works. So.
Yeah. So I hope so, man. I hope we can fulfill some of the dates in the summer, but I really don't have that. If you hear my dog, she's an idiot, but she's barking up there. And if I play another song and she's barking, I'm sorry.
I think it's a nice add-on too. We'll appreciate the dog in the background, and we've got the next song. I do want to let people know season finale next week. Sadler kind enough to join us, second to last show of the season. We got Marcus King joining next week. So
right on.
That'll be a good time, man. He's a talented guy. I'm sure he's
killer.
Crossed paths with that guy plenty of times. That'll be 8:00 Wednesday. That'll close out season 2. We've wrapped up 2 successful seasons. So
congratulations.
Yeah, man. We got our friend Katie Tupin. Shout out to Katie. She's helped book this
shout out
and
to
put
Katie.
This together.
Yeah.
Love her, and it's been fun, man. And if anything, I've gotten to make a bunch of new internet friends in the music scene. I know everyone in Nashville, literally every single person in Nashville now. So that's
so
how this works.
I want to give a shout out to a friend of mine named Pat Finnerty, who. Because you brought up internet friends, Pat has this Instagram. I don't even know. I've never met Pat in person, but we're like friends now. And he has this great, if I can say, he has this great Instagram show. Y'all go check out Pat Finnerty, Finnerty.
Let's do it.
He's just this cool dude. He's like 6'5", which I think is cool. And he's a Philadelphian. And he loves rock and roll music, and he plays guitar. I forget who he plays guitar for. But he's a great guitar player. My buddy of mine named Eric Slick, who's the drummer of Dr. Dog, connected us. And Pat did this cool thing. I want to tell you this quick story. Pat did this cool thing where he went on IG Live for 24 hours to try and get Paul McCartney to come on his Instagram.
Awesome,
his Instagram Live. He got Dave Grohl. Doing the same thing.
Really?
Dave Grohl came on, within the 24 hours, and so he did the same for Paul, and so I got in there and he knew I was coming in. We don't know each other, but I'm like, I'm a guy. He's a guy. Like, okay, I'm coming in, and I was like playing. I was like playing my favorite McCartney's. Songs. Doing all this stuff, and we're talking rock and roll and all that. So then he had me back on his show, and we just talked about. He wanted to talk about just The Who, which is like one of my favorite bands of all time, and that's I named my son Townsend. Is his first name Townsend?
Yes.
Anyway, he's like a cool ass friend now that I've met on the internet. So anyway, with all that to say, it's an interesting time, but I think we're gonna look back on this stuff and be like, wow, it was a cool time in some ways, and I know a lot of people are struggling out there and things like that. But
I think it's okay to point out those positives, though, for sure. I think it's awesome. You and Pat have this beautiful budding relationship now. I'm excited about it personally.
I think I got you excited about it.
I was like, man, he's a little taller than me. I respect him. It's perfect.
And I'm over here like, I'm 6 feet. He's like, no, you don't understand. I'm 6'5" every day. Okay. I
had a moment like that. Life. That's right. I used to, whenever I was like a teenager, I'd be like, oh, I'm 6'4". That's what I was listed at in basketball. I'm 6'4". And then I get up to Columbia, and a friend of mine's playing football for the University of Missouri, and he looks down on me, and he's like, what are you, like 6'3"? I was like, nah, I'm 6'4", bro. What are you, 6'6"? He's like, no, I'm 6'4". You're barely 6'3". Yeah, that's the thing. So
I always go,
shout out to Pat.
Yeah, I'm always like, hey, I'm 6 feet. And everybody's like, no, you're 5'11". I'm like, no, I'm 6 feet. No, you're 5'11". But I went to the doctor the other day, and guess what? 6 feet.
Proud of you, man.
I told
Cheers.
you. I told you, man.
He's been telling you for years.
Yeah, that's right.
We got so into that one year at Christmas. My little brother's 6'7". We found out with shoes off. I'm 6'3.5" with shoes off. My dad measured shoes off. Girlfriend at the time, we all were like, screw it, we're all tall. Let's see how so we measured it out. Yeah, so I've got the official height, 6'3.5". I'm proud of you for 6 foot.
6'3.5".
Don't forget it, Sadler. I'm going to need you to know that.
That's right, man. That's right. I won't forget it.
Okay, thank you.
I will not forget that.
Okay, well, we'll talk more height after this. Again, we got Marcus King next week, but we got one more song from the great Sadler Vaden. What do you have for us, buddy?
I'm going to play you the newest song that I put out, and I wrote it this past summer, and it's called Best Days, and you can stream it on Spotify and all that stuff. And this song means a lot to me, and I hope it brings some hope and positivity to anyone out there who's having a hard time right now. So cheers to you. Things are going to get better, all right? Don't give in to giving up. Times are hard for most of us, but it's who you are when things get tough and how you carry on. Every blessing is a curse, and I fear each day could get worse, but I count the ones that I love first. We try to get along, but there's so much to clean up. They just swept it underneath the rug so you couldn't see the dust. I watched the fire burn, but through the smoke I choose to trust that our best days are ahead of us. I went to see my old man. He's unaware that the world is damn still, drinking beer out of a can that stays close to his chest. This year brings us a baby boy, and the day he's born is not his choice, but in his smile we shall rejoice, 'cause he don't know the world's a mess. And there's so much left to learn. It's just covered up in cheap old paint so you couldn't see the rust. I watched the sun go down, but in the dark I choose to trust that our best days are ahead of us. I laid my head on the battlefield with the ghosts of soldiers that were killed, each fighting for their own ideals, but they didn't die in vain. And there's so much left to learn. It's just covered up in cheap old paint so you couldn't see the rust. I watched the fire I choose to trust that our best days are ahead of us. Yeah, our best days are ahead of us.
Sadler Vaden, I agree with the song. I'm going to take that positive path, my friend.
Thanks, man. It's hard to write a positive song that's not cheesy.
Yeah.
It's like really hard.
You kind of catch yourself going too far down the sugary sweet.
Yeah.
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 Well, I think we need that stuff, though. It's important. And maybe even if it's putting yourself out there a little bit, like I commend you for that, not to be cheesy in that, because it's got to feel pretty vulnerable to actually open up.
That song was for me, and it was one of the fastest songs I've ever written, and that's
nerves.
Yeah, and it was one of the worst days of my life. Like,
yeah,
I wouldn't say of my life, but it was just like I was just having a bad day, like nothing going right, and my version of nothing going right is someone else's version of everything going right. That's how it always is. But yeah, it just came out. It was right after the George Floyd thing in the summertime, and everything just kind of crumbling, but I always just think that there's better, on the other side. I lost both my parents at a young age. Like, I've been through a lot of shit that I had to either sink or swim, and I chose to keep going. I chose to just keep after it, so that's kind of who I am. But that song means a lot to me, and I hope it's brought some hope and positivity to people out there in this time.
Well, I'm proud that you played it on here, and I think that it definitely can. And I think that as the 400 unit grows, as your solo career grows, as everything else, and people can see you live again, I think that attitude is what keeps people coming out, keeps people caring, makes them kind of, I guess, get attached on a different level. I don't know. There's always something like, wow, it's so crazy that X band does this or that, but then you hear somebody like yourself sit here and explain that, and there's probably some luck involved here and there, but to have that mindset, I don't know, I think it kind of explains a few things too.
I hope so. Yeah, man. I'm just glad that I get to do what I love to do. I that doesn't bypass me. I mean, I know that I'm very, very fortunate to do that, but I've also worked really hard for it too, and things have gone right, things have gone wrong, but I love what I get to do, and I can't wait to be back out on the road and just take part in all that. But I am especially grateful for this time that just happened to work out. I had a kid and all this stuff, and I've been here.
He's going to recognize your face. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, selfishly, like it's been really good to kind of not miss out on those things. And I know that in the future I will miss some things, but I think this time is really important for me to be home, and it just happened to be that there was a global pandemic. So who knew?
Well, it brought us together, and you can add that to your things to be thankful for.
It brought us together too.
That's what I'm talking about. Cheers to you, Sadler, and
cheers,
and thanks
y'all.
everybody. Cheers for tuning in, and again, go to Sadler's Instagram, Facebook, follow all that good stuff. Get the solo album. Check out the 400 unit when they're back out on the road, and enjoy it. And come back next week for Marcus King. We'll close out season 2. And Sadler, man, thanks so much. This is an absolute delight.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
Absolutely.
Y'all take care.
Take care, everybody. Cheers. We'll see you next week.